Hey everyone, this is MrAddOil again, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the qualities of a self-taught developer and why they matter. So this is from the context of how the future of employment is probably changing, right? So you probably heard on the news that these top tech companies like the FANG company, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google, these big tech companies, they don't necessarily require a degree to consider you to get hired to work for them, right? In doing so, when these companies remove the need to have a degree to be considered to work for them, they're lowering the bar and also kind of raising the bar for everyone who would try to make an argument for themselves who hold college degrees or certificates from coding boot camps. But what I want to kind of paint the picture is, in a long-term scheme of things, what they really want, these actions from big tech companies, what they really want from a candidate is skills over, I guess, degree or certification, right? And self-taught developers, or anyone who's self-taught in their craft, they basically nail this right on the head, you know? These self-taught developers, they have the skills or the ability or the characteristics to reinvent themselves, build value in themselves by acquiring these necessary skills, knowledge for whatever job they're applying for. And then I kind of want to talk about what the self acronym that I composed means in a self-taught developer. So the S stands for specific, right? People who are self-taught, they usually know what success looks like. They have some sort of vision. They know that they're at destination or point A right now and they want to get a point B, or actually point C, and they know they have to traverse and go to point B and maybe do sub pit stops within the B location to get a C. So they're very specific and they're self-driven on what they need to do, what skills they need to get, and knowledge in order to make an argument for a given position. Moreover, once you gain one specific skill, and you kind of became proficient in it, then you can acquire another skill and just start stacking up skills and creating a domino exponential effect on how much value you can drive for your next employer. And then the E in self stands for effectiveness, right? So people who are self-taught, they piggybacking from the first S, right? Being specific. They're really effective in the specific skills that they curated for themselves and they spent and invested the time and energy to acquire. And the effectiveness, the competence in your skills is what ultimately gets you hired. Warren Buffett mentioned in the past that he never considered anyone or considered hire anyone based on the brand of their school that they went to or graduated from. He only was concerned about the skills that they had and what they had to offer ultimately. And the L in self stands for leverage. So people who are self-taught, they're super smart at leverage, this concept. So they know that they're competing with, bigger entities, whether it's coding boot camps, colleges, etc., right? So they are very smart in finding, I guess, gaps in this ecosystem, and they find leverage. And this could be in the form of finding a more affordable but yet very valuable packed course on Udemy or a different platform to acquire skills that they need. This could mean they understand how to leverage their existing network and also to expand it using the people that they know to get to the right decision makers when they're applying for companies. Ultimately, people who are self-taught, they understand that leverage is basically being resourceful and creative with the limited things that you have, or the things that you have right in front of you. And a lot of the time, most people, including myself, like I'm still trying to practice like this more lean methodology of like living, MVP mindset. But the fallacy for most people, the status quo, is that they think more is better. They think that if I bought a more expensive X, then it will help me get Y, right? Whereas people who are self-taught, they realize that, yeah, like if I really wanted to get this type of knowledge, then I just need to figure out what is the minimal thing that I need to do to kind of test it out, to see first if I'm a good fit, and then to see if I can grasp that minimal, I guess, scope of like knowledge or skill, and then expand from that. Going back to the first S, right? Being specific and then stacking things up. And lastly, the F in self stands for flexibility. You can think of this as being very agile, being able to adapt to like different situations. So for people who are self-taught, they probably built the habit of, or this type of framework that they use to adapt to changing environments or situations, right? And this is way more valuable than a stagnant degree or certificate, right? What a degree and certificate really does for you is open the door initially. It allows you to knock on the door and then allows for someone else to answer. But when you get into the door, aka like a company, then you have to kick into your self-taught skill sets to navigate and thrive in that environment. And the flexibility also involves like understanding how to work in different time frames, right? Like in a week, a day, a month. And then you're just, since you're self-driven as a self-taught developer, you know how to kind of organize your day or your schedule or your calendar in a day, a week, a month, or even quarter systems using like an OKR framework. And in any of these environments, you'll be successful. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the self acronym for a self-taught developer. So to recap, the first S stands for specific, E stands for effectiveness, L stands for leverage, and finally the F stands for flexibility. So if you resonated with any of these like concepts, or if you have your own thoughts on the qualities that make up a self-taught developer, just leave them down on the comments and I'll love to hear from you.